All right, Allison, thank you very much.
Well, that makes two things I've never seen: the hamburger drill and pregame warm-ups, and a dragonfly infestation.
I can imagine how that would be annoying if they got in your helmet ear hole. There is Lamar Miller. They want to get him about 30 touches here today, but it's going to be Travis Benjamin getting the first touch for Miami on the kickoff return, and it's a beauty. Anthony Cantelli, the kicker, ran him out, but it's a return of 41 yards for Travis Benjamin. And now Ja'Cory Harris and the Miami offense will come out. Harris, the embattled senior quarterback, learning a new system in his final year. This is his third offensive coordinator in as many years.
Yeah, and his last chance really to lead the Miami Hurricanes. There's been up and down. Even last week was up and down. Threw 2 touchdowns and led his team to victory. But all the fans of Miami read about and talk about are the 2 interceptions, which has been his Achilles heel. He's got to fix that today.
Miller in the backfield, but they're going to go on the sweep the other way to Benjamin. He is dangerous in space, and he picks up 9 yards on the first down carry. Ty Zimmerman, the strong safety, made the tackle. Speed is going to be issued here today.
Speed's going to be a big issue. You saw in special teams, it's going to be a big issue with the return from Benjamin. Lamar Miller is going to return some kicks today. But the speed of the Miami Hurricanes is what has gotten this Kansas State coaching staff most nervous. They've got to be able to withstand this early pressure if they're going to compete in the game.
True freshman Rayshon Scott lined up to the top of the screen and goes in motion. A sweep to the right. Lamar Miller will take it ahead for a first down, a gain of 3, and Miami moves the sticks for the first time as we take a look at our impact players.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of number 6. He's a tremendous game last week, 184 yards. Just a great combination of speed and power. He gets to the second level, and he's gone. And Allen Hurns has been the surprise in camp. He has emerged as the go-to receiver, a very hard worker. He's going to get some looks today. And if they're going to stop Lamar Miller, Ty Zimmerman, the safety for Kansas State, last year a freshman All-American, he's got to be able to tackle in space.
First down at 10, Miami already in plus territory. Harris out to the right. Benjamin makes the catch and picks up 7 on first down. The senior out of Belle Glade. As Miami's looking good here on their first series.
Well, you see the approach from offensive coordinator Jedd Fisch with Ja'Cory Harris. He knows and understands that the psyche of Ja'Cory is critical in this game. Get him some completions, get some positive plays with your playmakers on the edge, and get some momentum early.
Last week they had a near perfect first quarter against Ohio State, but then Harris stepped off the gas a little bit and threw those 2 picks. Second down and 3, he's out of the gun here. Low snap, comes up, looking to throw. Coxon fires. It's inside the 30, complete to Philip Dorsett. A true freshman who's expected to get a lot of playing time this week. Another first down.
You see offensive coordinator Jedd Fisch, and he's brought in a new system. It's a pro-style system. He cut his teeth in the National Football League, and I think that Ja'Cory Harris has taken to this system a little bit better than Mark Whipple a year ago, and Jedd Fisch has had just the right amount of fun with Ja'Cory Harris.
Lamar Miller straight into the hands of Emmanuel Lamur. It's going to be a short gain of 3. So second down at 7 coming up for the Canes.
As you see the Canes go inside the 25-yard line in the red zone area, they have been outstanding this season. They've converted 5 out of 7 times with touchdowns in the red zone area, and that's the big reason why they beat Ohio State a week ago.
We'll send the tight end in motion. It's Clive Walford. 5-step drop for Harris, looking left, now running to the right, and slides close to a first down. Nothing there, and Ja'Cory Harris makes something positive out of it. Lamur, the strong side linebacker, makes the tackle. It's a gain of 7.
Well, you saw good protection there. The big question mark with Ja'Cory Harris has been his decision making. He had plenty of time there, tried to get the ball down the field, nothing there. Rather than forcing it, you get your check down was eaten up in protection. Make something positive. Now you're in 3rd and short. Great situation.
And now a penalty flag. And this is going to go against the Canes.
Offense from the 70. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
John Feliciano, the right tackle. He had his first career start last week against Ohio State, and the coaches raved about how he played. That's not good on this occasion.
In those situations, looked like they tried to go on a quick count, and offensive linemen in short yard situations, they get real antsy. They want to come off the ball and push the pile. I don't like calling quick counts in 3rd and short, 4th and short situations for that reason.
So now it's 3rd and 6. Mike James to the right of Ja'Cory Harris. Time to throw for Harris. Now moves out of the pocket, throws. It's batted down and incomplete. Adam Davis got his big paw on it, and now it's 4th down.
Yeah, great play by Davis, staying with the quarterback and getting his arms up because there was an open receiver. You'll see Davis from the defensive line position. Arthur Brown comes up and forces the throw, but Davis just gets a mid on that. Otherwise, Alan Hearns, the receiver, had a 1st down catch.
39-yard field goal attempt for Jake Wyclaw. Out of the hold of Spencer Whipple. And Miami will settle for 3 on their opening possession. There's Al Golden. 42 years old, under a lot of stress since taking the job here at Miami, but he got his first win out of the way last week. And this guy is very excited about this club.
Well, I thought the most interesting thing he said to us yesterday was, you know, I went through a little bit of this trial and error when I was at Temple. Temple was on its deathbed. They were 3-31 before Coach Golden got there. And then when he got there, his first 17 games weren't so rosy. 1-16. But then his program, his coaching style, and his philosophy started to take over. And you see 26-18. They went to the Eagle Bank Bowl, and they were a good football team. So he's been through this before, and he said, I've got a lot more talent here to work with. So I feel pretty good about where we are.
It seemed like for 2 years, every time a major job came open, his name was mentioned. Well, he turned them all down. He wanted this one.
Well, he's got a great pedigree. He played tight end for Joe Paterno at Penn State. He's been with George Welsh and Al Groh and Tom O'Brien and on down the line. He's learned from some of the best and understands how to put a team together, how to have a disciplined, smart, tough football team. That's what he's all about.
Wyclaw's 39-yard field goal puts Miami ahead. His kick is short, taken at the 15 by David Garrett. And pretty good field position for K-State on their opening series. A 21-yard return for Garrett. They are the impact players for Kansas State.
Yeah, we talked a little bit in the open. Quarterback Colin Klein, he's got a lot of the weight on his shoulders. A big percentage of this offense is with him, with his arms and his legs. He's got to do it in both fashion. And on defense for the Miami Hurricanes, Sean Spence is their leader, unquestioned quarterback of the defense. Came back a week ago, and you saw the difference it made from the Maryland game to the Ohio State game. Him calling the plays on defense, getting his guys lined up.
Colin Klein out of the gun. First play from scrimmage for K-State. And it's a good one. Sheldon Smith up on that far sideline. Looks like he may have stepped out back a little bit. It's about a 5-yard gain on 1st down for Sheldon Smith.
This is the kind of offense we're going to see from Kansas State today. It's basically a triple option, but it's from a spread set. And so Colin Klein can run the ball, or he can hand it off. Or in that case, as he approached the line of scrimmage and Sean Spence came to make the tackle, then you just flip it out to the wide receiver. It's a very effective offense, and Miami's got to be good with their eye discipline today.
2nd down and 5. Klein puts it in the breadbasket of John Hubert, and not a lot of operating room as the Miami defense knocks him down. It's a gain of 2. Marcus Forston, who didn't play the first game of the year for Miami, looking for production this week, gets a tackle there.
Yeah, Forston's a guy that's got all the ability in the world. Coaches just want to see a little bit more production, a little bit more effort and conditioning. Some of these guys playing in their 2nd game, Forston as well as Spence, to see how their conditioning holds up in the heat.
Crowd coming to life. Defense looking for a stop on 3rd down and 3. Bring the pressure. Klein throws, and it's complete. Cut out around midfield by Chris Harper, the #1 wide receiver for this Kansas State team. Brandon McGee knocks him up, and it's a gain of 11 and a 1st down for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Miami came with an all-out blitz there in 3rd down situation. Clearly, they're going to try to force Colin Klein to make plays with his arm. which I think a lot of defenses will do to him, and he made the play there.
It's a real test for him, whether he can handle the workload. He's been running a lot. They're hoping that he can pass effectively today. He'll hand off here. Nowhere to go for Hubert. Hit in the backfield for a loss of 3. Brandon McGee, the corner, came rifling in along with Sean Spence.
And this was a design blitz from the corner. You're going to see from the right side of your screen, Sean Spence as well as McGee. McGee started right at the snap, getting in the backfield. And that's some things that Miami will do defensively to try to counteract the perimeter run game of Kansas State. They'll bring corners, they'll bring nickel backs off the edge to combat this option attack.
2nd and 13. Klein to throw to the outside, keeping his feet in bounds is Broderick Smith, the possession receiver for the Wildcats. McGee again there on the stop. It's a pickup of 7. So now 3rd and 6.
This is an important drive for Kansas State early in this game to come out and move the ball offensively. The first game of the year against Eastern Kentucky, they were dreadful. Only scored 10 points. And they've got to come out and show that they can move the ball and play with Miami on defense.
It's Smith again. 1st down and more. To the 22-yard line before Von Telemack takes him out. It's an 18-yard pickup. K-State has been good on 3rd downs this year.
Well, and Colin Klein has been good. You see this accurate throw on time. He threw that ball before the receiver came out of his break. And that is key, because if Miami's going to play man-to-man coverage, these throws all day are going to be tight. And Colin Klein has shown that he has the confidence in his receivers to let that ball go early.
Kansas State 48% on 3rd downs so far this season. Hubert, the setback behind Klein. And it will be Klein to keep it. And he's inside the red zone, out at the 16. And now Miami's defense is going to be tested for the first time. The red zone is where the Miami defense has been very good so far.
They have certainly. Against Maryland, they gave up almost 500 yards of offense, but only 1 touchdown. And you see those guys with the kind of doing the truck signal there. That's the flip the switch signal. And that comes from their defensive coordinator, Mark D'Onofrio. They say it's a different mindset down here. Focus in and force field goal attempts.
2nd down and 3 at the 15. Klein to Hubert. Looking for room on the right side, and he gets it to the 10-yard line. Let's go down to Allison.
The whole emphasis with flip the switch is that it's a new mindset. It doesn't matter how they got to the red zone. The defense knows there's an opportunity to take points off the board. And so when they go out there, you see them making that motion. That's the flip the switch. Erase how they got there. The goal now just to focus, execute, and keep them off the board.
Well, they've got their hands full now. K-State 1st down and goal to go from the 9. 9th play of the drive. Hubert. Inside the 5, reaches out, knocked out of bounds at the 2. Thomas Finney made the tackle, but K-State knocking on the door.
You see, they put the defense in a bind here. The speed of Hubert off the edge runs right around Smith and then gets down to the 1-yard line. But that was a good read by Colin Klein, pulling that ball or giving that ball off.
Miami's defense held Ohio State out of the red zone last week for the first time in 3 seasons. But here is K-State trying to bang away John Hubert. He has stood up at the line of scrimmage, no gain. So 3rd down and goal coming up.
We've seen 2 or 3 times on this drive, Clay, where Kansas State has tried to run the power game inside the tackles to no avail. Their success running the football has been on the outside with that zone read. Problem is, when you get down here around the 1- and 2-yard line in goal line situations, that zone read's not quite as effective. So we'll see if they figure out how to get it in.
3rd down and goal. Klein from under center. He's going to keep it to the end zone. Got it. Touchdown, Wildcats. A 2-yard run for Colin Klein. What an impressive drive for K-State on the road on their opening series.
Critical opening drive for Kansas State, just to get their confidence in this game, that they can move the football offensively, get some momentum, and then finish their drive.
Anthony Cantelli with the extra point. 9th career touchdown run for Colin Klein.
Great blocking on the end of line of scrimmage. See the tight end and tackle. Get their blockers into the end zone. McDonald on Spence. That's an attitude and a statement early in this game.
ESPNU College Football All-State Game of the Week, brought to you by Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. K-State says we're not going to be pushed around here on the road today. They held Miami to a field goal on the Canes' opening possession, then marched it 63 yards in 11 plays. Klein in the end zone. A drive that lasted over 5 minutes. Very impressive. Here's Lamar Miller from inside the 5. He is a dangerous return man, gets it across the 25, but a penalty flag is down. Marker down. We'll check it when we come back. All right, Dari, thank you very much. Alabama 22-1 in the last 23 home games. The only loss, of course, to Auburn last year. There's Bill Snyder, longtime K-State head coach. His team leads it here 7-3. Under 6 minutes to go first quarter. Lamar Miller in the backfield to the left of Ja'Cory Harris. Second series of downs for Miami. And they run it on first down. Miller, a short pickup as Ray Kibble, the nose tackle, makes the stop. For Kansas State, it's a gain of 4.
I think this Miami offense really, even though it's the 3rd game of the year, they're still trying to find their identity on offense. A new coordinator, the quarterback's only playing his 2nd game this year. Do remember, he missed a lot of the second half of last year after he got hurt in the Virginia game. He played poorly in the bowl game, and so he needs to get back on track and find identity.
Wants to pass, pressure, gets rid of it in time. Maurice Hagan's the catch. Out across the 30 is smacked down there. It's a gain of 13. Nigel Malone made the tackle. First down, Miami.
I love Hagans at the fullback position, and that's something we haven't seen a whole lot from the Miami Hurricanes as of late. This is a pro-style offense. In the pro-style offense, you need a fullback. Hagan's a big kid, 5'11", 240 pounds. He's a big reason why Lamar Miller had a great game last week against Ohio State. Make no mistake.
Jed Fish is going to use the fullbacks. He's also going to use a lot of tight ends in this offense. Speaking of that, Walford, the tight end, in motion. And they get it out to a receiver. It's Alan Hearns. You get him in space, and he is always dangerous. He is stood up short of the 40-yard line by Tyson Hartman, the free safety. It's a gain of 7. Second down and 3.
We talk about finding an identity, and I think we're starting to see it. They want to run the football with Lamar Miller, as they should. Guy's very talented. Then they also want to have play action. Naked bootleg to the fullback, and then third, they want to be able to get the ball to their playmakers in space with bubble screens, perimeter screens, and some short throws which require accurate decision making from Ja'Cory Harris. That's what they want to be.
Harris now 4 for 5, 37 yards passing. He hasn't taken a shot downfield yet. Second and 3, short drop. Quick fire to Rayshon Scott. Stopped short of the first down by Nigel Malone. That was a good open field tackle. Something Bill Snyder was a little concerned about because of that speed of Miami this week.
Well, the speed of the receivers and Travis Benjamin, Alan Hearns, but also Lamar Miller. Getting into the second level. The safeties for Kansas State, as Bill Snyder mentioned, both Zimmerman and Hartman, very good players, and the experience that Bill Snyder has had through his coaching career, he understands the importance of fundamentals and tackling.
On 3rd and 1, they give it to Mike James. He is the short yardage back, you might say, out of the two between Miller and James. He picks up 4 and another Miami first down.
James is a little bit bigger. He's 222 pounds. About 10 pounds heavier than Lamar Miller, and he is the hammer. They'll give it to him on the goal line and in short yardage situations, but he is a very good back in regular down and distance as well.
They call Miller dash. They call James smash. That's appropriate. So here we go, first down and 10. Miami on the move. This is their second possession. Their first one resulted in a field goal. A misdirection in the backfield. It's Miller getting loose. Got to the edge and picks up a first down. David Garrett may have made a touchdown saving tackle. He gets loose into the secondary. He could be gone.
This is one of the things, the change of direction from Miller. You think you have him stopped and contained 1 minute, the next minute he's gone. This is what scares Bill Snyder and Kansas State defensive coaches more than anything. You've got to be able to keep contained. He does such a great job of getting up in his offensive lineman's heels, so the linebackers have a hard time finding him.
Already over 300 yards rushing on the season. Harris play fake, has time to throw, hit as he throws, and the ball was short. Luckily for him, not intercepted. Emmanuel Lemur, the strong side linebacker, almost brought him down for a sack.
They want to take a shot. They're going to run the ball effectively with Lamar Miller, and then they're going to take their shots downfield. And that time, Streeter had a step. You see him, number 8 on the left side of your screen. He was behind the secondary, Hartman, and Ja'Cory Harris just did not have enough time to get that football out there. Takes a big shot.
8th play of the drive for Miami. Second down and 10. Mike James gets it. And he'll spin inside the 40-yard line to the 38. Adam Davis, the defensive end, makes the tackle. It's a gain of 5. So now 3rd down and 5 coming up.
Looks like Brandon Washington, the big left tackle, who has been one of their better, more athletic offensive linemen, still down on the ground. This would be a big loss for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, especially since Chantrell Henderson, another tackle, is injured right now for Miami. We'll check on Mr. Washington when we come back to Miami. Joel Figueroa comes into the game at tackle for a big 3rd and 5.
Yeah, it looked like Brandon Washington got his right ankle rolled up on the last play. And he may be out for a while, but Figueroa has got a lot of experience, played a lot of different places on that offensive line. Big 3rd and 5 here for the Hurricanes.
Miller in the backfield. Miller gets it. And he is going to be stopped well short of the first down. There is David Garrett, only 5'8", 175, but he plays bigger than his size would indicate.
Yeah, he'll come inside in the nickel and play in the interior of that line. And a very interesting call from Jed Fish and Al Golden. They're very conservative with the draw. Maybe they felt like this was 4-down territory for them anyway, so they try to get it into a 3rd and 1 or 2 situation. But now, 4th down and 4. Heads up for Lamar Miller in the check down situation.
That's what you're calling, huh? He goes in motion. On 4th down. Penalty flags are down. Harris throws. If the play whistled dead, it's going to be a false start.
Offense number 61. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
And it's Figueroa who just came in.
Yeah, you lose Brandon Washington, and then Figueroa comes in. May not be used to the cadence of Ja'Cory Harris. Those are just penalties that you can't have, especially in situations like that, 4th down and 5. Now you got to punt the football. 3rd
penalty already against Miami. It's been something that has plagued the Hurricanes in the early season. They had 10 in the game against Maryland, 5 against Ohio State. Dalton Botts.
Nobody out there for Kansas State.
Ready to punt, but yeah, K-State caught off guard.
Miami was in their punt formation, and Kansas State had 5 guys on the field. So Bill Snyder had to call a quick timeout.
Well, Mondays on ESPNU, the Palmer and Pollock Show comes your way. We're going to look back and look ahead. It's 3 hours of college football talk. You're not going to find it anywhere else on ESPNU. Mondays at 1 and 9 Eastern. So the Miami offense has had some issues here in the early going.
Well, I think you go back to the Maryland game, they had a lot. They had 11 penalties on offense. 8 of them were pre-snap procedural penalties, and that's a big reason why Al Golden made the switch at the quarterback position from Stephen Morris back to Ja'Cory Harris because he felt Ja'Cory Harris could manage the line of scrimmage and the offense better and eliminate a lot of those penalties.
Plots to punt. Tries to angle it. Takes a nice bounce. They can't keep it out of the end zone. It's going to be a touchback. Kendall Tompkins, number 83 for Miami, almost was able to down that inside the 5. Let's go down to Allison.
Guys, when the Hurricanes defense came off the field after that Kansas State touchdown, defensive coordinator Mark D'Onofrio said to his guys, look, it's not going to be easy. It's never easy. It's going to be hard. It's about how you react. You need to lock in. He said, we let them off the hook twice on 3rd down. You need to be more precise and hold your position, guys.
Mark D'Onofrio, who Al Golden says is the best that is out there as far as defensive coordinators go. He was a great coach under Al at Temple. So John Hubert in the game. Behind Klein. Klein checking at the line of scrimmage. Rolling out Klein. Complete. Caught at the 30-yard line. The tight end, Andre McDonald, still on his feet inside Miami territory to the 46-yard line. Sean Spence finally made the tackle, but it's a gain of 33 for the Wildcats.
Kansas State coming into this game wanted to take advantage of Miami's speed with misdirection plays. You see here a naked bootleg on the move, accurate throw from Colin Klein to his big tight end, 6'8". And he is not easy to bring down. You see the attitude of Kansas State early in this game. They feel like they can compete and win.
Ten seconds to go in the quarter. Play clock down to 5. From the 46 on 1st down, Klein, a quick strike, caught at the 43 by Chris Harper, the junior receiver. And that's the end of the quarter. Kansas State will start the 2nd quarter with the lead and in Miami territory. They said the 1st quarter was going to be key in this game. Remember, Miami last week was excellent against Ohio State, but right now they're down by 4. 2003 to now. There's Bill Snyder. His quarterback, Colin Klein, has done a great job managing the K-State offense through 1 quarter.
Yeah, he's 6 of 6 throwing the football. Good start.
2nd down and 6 at the 42 of Miami. First play of the 2nd quarter. And it's a keeper for Klein, and he plunges ahead. He's going to be stopped short of the 1st down by Raymond Buchanan, the Sam linebacker. It's a gain of 4. 3rd and short.
We've seen Colin Klein. He's a leading rusher for Kansas State coming into this game, but we've seen him run only sparingly so far. It's his 3rd attempt. I think they want to use him only when they need him running the ball. They need Colin Klein to be in the pocket and throw the football to win this game. I think they realize that, and they probably want to protect him a little bit in the running game and only use him when it's effective.
Got a 3-receiver set, 2 to the near side. There's 3 for 3 on 3rd down, Brian.
Miami's going to come with a blitz.
Klein slips through a hole and into the secondary. And he is tripped up from behind at the 22-yard line by Telemac. A touchdown-saving tackle. Klein rips off 20 there.
Miami came with the blitz off the edge. Buchanan from a linebacker position. Stop it right there. You got to make a decision. They block up the blitz, and then it's a crease. Buchanan vacates his linebacker position. There's nobody left on the back end other than the safety, and Telemac has to make great effort just to bring Klein down, but the blitz can kill you if you don't get to the quarterback.
Kansas State in the red zone again. Klein to throw to the tight end McDonald, and he dropped it.
Great play call there, and another naked McDonald wide open, and it looked like he just tried to run with the football before he secured it. Got this angle. Now your quarterback runs, then you come up and you throw it behind him, and you see there McDonald turned his head and didn't have control of that football. Big missed opportunity.
First incompletion for Klein. Can't fault him.
The balance of this offense. When Klein is running effectively, the defense has to declare and come up to stop him, and that's when you can throw the ball over the top.
Klein on the run, throwing from midair to Harper, incomplete. That was an interesting pass attempt by Klein. He got airborne to throw it.
Question was it a forward or backward pass? But that's very similar. As he starts to run with the football, he'll make a read and then flip it out at the end. There he comes. He's at about the 23-yard line. And that's very close. I don't think that they'll rule that a backward pass, but it was very close. And that's a read from the quarterback. If he sees the defense collapse on the option, he'll just flip it out to his wide receiver. And now Al Golden, I think, wants to take a look at this play potentially to see if that wasn't a backward pass.
It's a Big 12 officiating crew today. Here's another look.
Looks like it might be the 22-yard line where he lets that ball go, and looks like it's right on the 22 where the ball was incomplete. Just to document, the Hurricanes did recover the football if it is ruled a backward pass.
Ruling on the field incomplete. There has to be conclusive visual evidence upstairs.
Play stands. Third down.
It's too hard to tell. And not enough evidence to overturn that call on the field. So K-State gets a big break there.
Big break, and it brings up a 3rd and 10. If you're Kansas State, not a very high-powered offensive team throwing the football. In this situation, I think you try to get the ball with some of your playmakers on the edge in maybe a slip screen fashion, something that's safe, that has the potential to get you a first down, but does not take into account the fact you may turn the ball over and lose 3 points. It's in your pocket.
That was an official review, so no timeout charge to Miami. 3rd down and 10. The crowd coming to life again. Klein has time to the end zone. Man open, touchdown. Tyler Lockett, the true freshman out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, catches a 20-yard strike from Klein.
Well, scratch that. This will become a high-powered throwing offense. Watch this throw from Colin Klein over the linebacker Buchanan, in between the safety Nicholas. Tremendous read recognition from Colin Klein, poise in the pocket, and an accurate throw for a big touchdown.
Cantelli's extra point is good, and this crowd in South Florida is stunned. First career touchdown reception for Lockett, whose dad, Kevin, is the program's all-time leading receiver, looking like a chip off the old block here. And K-State has punched Miami in the mouth here in the first half. Part of Miami's game plan this week was to force Colin Klein to throw. Well, they may have bitten off more than they can chew. He's already at 100 yards passing.
Well, give him credit. I mean, the book on Colin Klein was he's a tremendous runner, an athlete. He was a former wide receiver 2 years ago, and a year ago became a running quarterback. Now he looks like he's added the passing element to his game.
Cantelli to Benjamin, who takes it at the 5. And out to the 34-yard line.
Go back and look at this touchdown. You're going to see a 3-man rush up front, which gives Colin Klein time to throw the football. This is a big-time throw against 3-deep coverage. You see the underneath coverage like a picket fence. The alley for this throw is right there, but you got to get it over the linebacker. That is threading the needle. Perfect placement. Great read on the defense from Colin Klein, and a huge touchdown for the Kansas State Wildcats.
Well, here comes Miami's offense back on the field. .13:20 to go. The Hurricanes down 14-3, and they're incomplete on this pass attempt. Harris to Benjamin. Dropped it off the top of his shoe tops. Let's go down to Allison.
Guys, Brandon Washington should be good to go. They taped up his right ankle. He rolled it a bit, but he should be okay. So good news for the Canes offensive line.
Yes, it is. They've had some trouble staying healthy at that position.
That is great news for them. And Washington has played all different kinds of positions. He was a guard last year, and then at the start of camp, he was a right tackle. And then when Chantrell Henderson went down with back surgery in camp, he had to switch to left tackle. So he's played all over this offensive line, one of their most valuable players.
Second down. Harris, deep drop, throws, and coming back for the ball and catching it, LaRon Byrd, still short of the first down. Let's go to the studio for
the 55862 from your mobile phone to vote and for a chance at a trip to the national championship.
All right, Dari, third down for Miami, and they convert. And they get it into Kansas State territory. Travis Benjamin eluding tacklers in the secondary. And a big pickup, a gain of 15 for the Canes.
That's a good read by Ja'Cory Harris. Kansas State brought the safety down weak to try to stop the run. They were anticipating Lamar Miller, and Ja'Cory Harris saw off coverage on the outside of Benjamin and just flipped it to him. That's an easy conversion.
Harris goes back to the ground, and Miller. And he is stopped for a loss. There is Arthur Brown going against his former team here today. Played 2 seasons at Miami. It's a loss of 2 and second down.
Yeah, Arthur Brown was one of the most highly recruited players coming out of high school, and went to the Hurricanes last season. As you saw, he didn't have a whole lot of productivity, and decided to go back home with his brother Bryce, who is the running back for Kansas State.
We'll probably see Bryce at some point today. So second down and 12 for Harris. And picked off. Intercepted at the 35-yard line by Nigel Malone. And the Miami fans are saying to themselves, uh-oh, here we go again. A return of 14 yards, and Kansas State back in business.
Let's go back and take a look at this. Nigel Malone's right here, and this is the wide receiver. And he's just going to come up. That's LaRon Byrd, and not a great route from LaRon Byrd, but a great break from Nigel Malone, the junior college transfer. And Ja'Cory Harris just throws that route, expecting the receiver to come back to the football. And if you don't come back to the football, the corner's going to come back and get it. And that's taught early on in the wide receiver meeting room. And wasn't a good job there by LaRon Byrd coming back to the football.
39 picks in the last 28 games. Meanwhile, Klein throws it to an open sideline. Chris Harper, the closest receiver. And it'll bring up second down at 10.
You talk about those interceptions. Last week, there were 2 throws and 2 decisions that Al Golden really didn't like that Ja'Cory Harris had in that football game. That throw there, that wasn't a bad decision. That was just bad execution on the part of the quarterback and wide receiver, and not coming back to that football. That's not a decision that's going to plague Ja'Cory Harris. That's probably what Jed Fish is telling him. Just keep your head up and keep moving.
Bryce Brown, the aforementioned brother of Arthur, is in the game now for the first time for Kansas State. Left of Colin Klein. Klein to the near sideline, a little too tall for the intended receiver, Broderick Smith. So now it's 3rd and 10.
One of the things I thought that this Miami defense would be able to do is get pressure on Colin Klein. They have not had any kind of pressure on him. They let him sit back and feel comfortable in the pocket. They might be giving him an opportunity to make some more plays down the field. He's proven he can throw the football.
3rd down. K-State perfect today, 5 for 5. Klein started the game 6 for 6 throwing the football. He was one of his last 5. Time to throw. Behind the receiver, Brown. And the punting unit will come out. So the Miami defense stops Kansas State after the turnover.
Yeah, big stop for Miami after a sudden change situation, interception.
So Ja'Cory Harris can breathe a little easier now Unfortunately for him, over the last couple of years, a lot of times when he's thrown a pick, it's come back to bite the Canes. Not the case this time. Ryan Dorr comes on to punt. Third year as the K-State punter after starting his career at South Carolina. And he's had 4 inside the 20 already this year. Drops it at about the 5-yard line, but it takes a bounce into the end zone. 14-3 K-State in the second quarter. ESPNU College Football All-State Game of the Week brought to you by the Capital One Venture Card. With double miles on every purchase every day. .11:07 to go before half. Miami is in a hole here, down 14-3. Lamar Miller, the star running back for Miami. Al Golden would like to get him 30 touches today, Brian.
They need to get him some more touches. He only has 7 so far, and we're almost halfway through the second quarter.
He'll get it on first down here and pick up a handful. Ray Kibble, nose tackle, who Jed Fish and Al Golden said is as good as any defensive tackle they saw last week that Ohio State had.
And you got to give this Kansas State defense a little bit of credit. Nobody was giving them credit coming into this game, even though they were the #1 ranked defense in college football because they had played Kent State and Eastern Kentucky. But turns out they're learning a little bit about themselves against the Hurricanes offense.
Yes, they are. 2nd and 7, play action. Harris sets up, throws. It's Miller. And it looks like he's got enough for the first down. Or he's going to be darn close. Trey Walker, the weak side linebacker, tripped him up. Looks to be a gain of 6.
This is an element that Miami has to employ on offense. Play action and get the ball down. It's just like a running play for Lamar Miller. Let him use his speed out on the edge. But if Miami's going to move the football consistently, not only do they have to hand the football to Lamar Miller, but he's a great receiver out of the backfield.
He's a track star, too. I mean, 100 meters, 4x100 for Miami this spring.
He was a phenomenal track star. He's ran a 10.500 meters, which is some of the best times in the state of Florida this year. And there's some races on this Miami offense between Benjamin and Lamar Miller. And we were talking, Lamar Miller actually raced against Denard Robinson in 100 meters in the state of Florida a couple years back.
Previous play. The forward progress is under review.
Going to take a look upstairs. The goal for Lamar Miller this season, and he was very vocal about it, 1,000 yards rushing, and it's been a while since the Hurricanes have had a back reach 1,000 yards on the ground.
Yeah, it's been quite some time, and I think that's a great goal. But let's look at him on the outside here and see whether his foot goes out of bounds or the knee goes down. They're just looking at a couple of yards there, and whether I think he had a first down either way. They just want to make sure. But yeah, he had a goal of 1,000 yards, and he wanted to average 150 yards per game. And he got that goal from the spring game, he said. He said, whatever else you had in the spring game, I wanted that to be my average. And he's at 151 coming into this game.
Let's see where that knee went down.
It's down right on the 30-yard line. They have the ball spotted short of the 30-yard line, so looks like this ball should be up a yard.
For more on Miller, let's go down to Allison.
Hey, Clay, the big focus for Lamar Miller during the offseason was to improve his conditioning, and they wanted him to really step up and become the primary back. So to motivate him, offensive coordinator Jed Fish would put different things for Marcus Lattimore, the South Carolina running back, in his locker. He'd put different stats, like what he was averaging, how many touchdowns he scored, awards he's received. The message was, why can't this be you? At first, Lamar was a little mad about it, but it said it gave him motivation, and he figured, heck, if Lattimore can do it, why can't I too?
You see, Lattimore has been the workhorse for South Carolina now for the last year plus.
31-yard line. First down.
So there's a first down for Miami.
You know, you go back, that was great motivational tactics from Jed Fish and from Al Golden. And I think they have a lot of different creative ways of doing that. But that's something Jed Fish, I think, learned through his time in the NFL. Motivating NFL-type players is not the easiest thing to do. And the creativity that he's shown with these young players specifically early on in his tenure here at Miami has been impressive.
Spent 9 of the last 10 years as an assistant in the NFL. Just 35 years old. One of the bright young coaches in college football today. Harris on first down. Looking for a receiver, comes to the near sideline, and it's complete to Streeter, his former high school teammate. Second down and 5 coming up. Let's go to the studio for
home late in the first, guys.
All right, Dari, thank you very much. Arkansas and Alabama, one of just several great top 25 matchups going on this 4th Saturday of the college football season. Miller on second down and 5. Stood up at the 40-yard line, and he keeps those feet moving. It's going to be a short gain.
Miami on offense now right in the middle of that big infield, the dirt infield that the Florida Marlins use on this field, and a great conversion on second down. They're pushing the pile, but it's very difficult to change directions when you're on that dirt. Gives away very easily, and this is a challenge for them to be able to operate as a quarterback. Just the center quarterback exchange is a little more difficult on the dirt because dirt gets all over the football. You don't think about that.
Now out of the gun on first down. Harris stepping up. Lofts it out of bounds. So now second down and 10. And a Bronx cheer perhaps from the crowd here in Miami.
Well, and deservedly so. This is an area that Jacory needs to improve, and nothing there. He didn't give up on the play too early. Went through his reads and then tried to use his athletic ability to extend the play, and nothing there. Throw it out of bounds. And I think that's what Jedd Fisch has been preaching. Use your legs, get 2 or 3 yards and get down, or check the football down if somebody's there, or throw it out of bounds. Those are your 3 options, nothing else.
Get it to Miller, and he is cut down after a short gain by Violatui, the defensive tackle, who reached out to bring him down for a gain of 2. So now third down and about 7 for the Canes.
Great play by Latui, fighting off the block. You got to give credit to this Kansas State defense. They're giving up a few yards, but overall they have kept Lamar Miller in check, and that is not an easy thing to do. Just ask Ohio State's defense.
Latui, one of the many JUCO transfers on this Kansas State defense in particular. Mike James checks in. Third down and 7. They've converted just 1 third down today. Harris, incomplete. Miami wants a penalty flag on Malone. None coming. LaRon Byrd, the intended receiver. Malone, great coverage for the Wildcats.
I think early in this game, Kansas State, both cornerbacks feel very comfortable running with the wide receivers from Miami. LaRon Byrd, not the fastest receiver, and I think that Malone feels I can sit on all these routes because he's not going to run by me. It's happened on the interception, and now again on the out route on third down.
Dalton bots the punt. And the fair catch by Ty Zimmerman at the 21-yard line. 35-yard kick. 14-3 Kansas State. 7:51 to go in the half. Till half. Let's go back to that last series.
Take a look at Nigel Malone up here. This is LaRon Byrd, 6'4", 220. Nigel Malone not concerned about him going by him. He's going to squat on these routes. He did it on the interception, and then that time, again, the same kind of a route, and he's able to break on the football and break it up. If Miami's going to be successful, they have got to use some double moves on the outside or run by Malone because he is not respecting the deep ball.
Kansas State being doubled up on time of possession, but they've got the lead. Klein to the flat, complete. Here is Sheldon Smith for a first down and more, close to the 40-yard line. Telemac made the tackle. Well, following our game from Miami, it's the SEC on ESPN. College football primetime from Starkville, Mississippi. Louisiana Tech taking on the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. We'll see it immediately following our contest here. Dan Mullen and the Bulldogs have had a tough schedule so far. Losses at Auburn and to LSU. Penalty marker on that last play.
10-yard penalty. First down.
Roderick Smith, the holding call on K-State.
There's a big hit on the end of that play. Watch Klein. He's going to throw this football and take a massive shot right there from Perryman, the linebacker. And Klein was very slow to get up, holding his wrist, it looked like. Now backed up in a situation back first and 11. We'll see how he comes out, whether he can still throw the football.
Play clock down to 3. I don't know if they got it off in time.
Ball start. Offense for the 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Clyde Offner, the right tackle.
Fans here starting to get into this game a little bit. Even though their team is down 14-3, they sense first down penalty holding, a second down penalty. They need something to change the momentum in this football game.
They need to get to the 32-yard line for a first down. Now 1st and 16. Play clock again expires.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
3 straight penalties on Kansas State.
You played fantastic through a quarter and a half. Made some great throws, moved your offense. Now, make sure you don't lose this momentum. He's a couple times lost his composure a little bit. Doesn't have the awareness that he needs to at the play clock. You need to get up there with a sense of urgency.
And hit by Perryman maybe rattled his cage. And more movement on that K-State line. You gotta be kidding me.
This is where you might think about taking a timeout if you're Bill Snyder. Bring your guys over to the sideline, have a discussion, and calm everybody down. You don't want a bad situation to get worse now. You're 1st and 25. I want to look my quarterback in the eyes and see if he's focused or whether he needs a breather. I want him to throw the ball to the other team here and really change momentum.
They didn't have any penalties on the first 3 drives. Klein sprints out, pitches, and boy, did Hubert get pasted at the 2-yard line. Mike Williams dropping him right in front of the end zone for a loss of 3. A transfer from Wake Forest with a big pop.
Miami's starting to make the adjustments on the sideline with Mark D'Onofrio. You're going to see this option game in the veer. How are we going to defend it? Well, that time the corner came up and got this crowd back into the football game.
2nd and a mile. Klein from his own end zone. Will go ahead, finds a seam. Big run for Colin Klein. He got most of that yardage back. Out to the 29-yard line, Joe Nicholas finally made the stop. It's a gain of 26.
Great execution inside. Watch the blocking, the read by Klein, the missed tackle by Buchanan, the linebacker, just right up the gut from Colin Klein and securing that football. He is a dangerous threat with his legs. Not only that, but he's 6'5", 226 pounds, hard to bring down.
All of a sudden, it's 3rd and manageable for Kansas State. Who would have thought that after those penalties? Klein again reads it right and takes it ahead across the 40-yard line for an impossible first down. A gain of 13 for the Wildcats.
As big as the momentum was with the penalties going backwards and backing this team up, even bigger that conversion by Kansas State, all on Colin Klein's legs. And this is a statement. Look at the blocking on the outside, and Miami right now has no answers for the perimeter option game of Colin Klein.
Klein now 6 carries for 70 yards on the ground to go along with 109 yards through the air. First down at their own 42. Again, the zone read. This time, Klein is wrapped up in the backfield. Adewale Ajomo with the sack and a loss of 2.
Biggest surprise for me defensively for Miami is this defensive line's got a lot of talent. They're not getting off their blocks. That last play they certainly did, and that's what they need to do. You've got to get off your blocks if you're going to play the veer. And Ajomo, Forston, McConnor Regis, Andre Smith, those guys need to get off blocks if they're going to stop this option attack.
So Kansas State once again behind the sticks. 2nd down and 12. Klein picking his way ahead close to the 45-yard line. A gain of 5 yards. So to bring up 3rd down and 7.
You got to give credit to this offensive line from Kansas State as well. On the inside, the center and 2 guards are new players. Finney is only starting his 3rd game as a redshirt freshman at the center position. Pitts is starting his 2nd game in his career at the left guard, and Colton Free is only his 6th game at right guard. So those guys are pretty green on the interior, but doing a nice job.
Klein. Hit. Ball loose. And it's recovered at the 35-yard line, it appears, by Klein.
Looks like he cocked that football back to throw the ball downfield, and it just slipped out of his hand. Very fortunate to come up with that football. Yeah, it just came out. And, you know, you play down in South Florida, and the humidity, and there's been a lot of rain earlier in the day, and it's very hot and humid. That ball gets slippery.
Well, Kansas State was backed up against its own goal line. They got out of that hole, and it looks like they dodged a bullet here. They're going to be able to punt when we come back, leading 14-3.
Difference in Tuscaloosa. See you at the half.
All right, Dari, we'll see you in 2:28. We're going to stun Miami Hurricanes crowd here at Sun Life Stadium. Ryan Dorr, the punt. It's a short one. Travis Benjamin has some space. Coming to the near sideline, and he is tracked down by Brown. The former Hurricane with a great special teams tackle. And Ja'Cory Harris and the Miami offense will come out for an important drive here before half with 2:17 to go, Brian. This Miami Hurricane offense is looking for something to start clicking.
Well, this is a very important. They haven't played very well early in this game, especially offensively, but 2 minutes and 28 seconds, as you said, 2 timeouts, and a chance to grab a little bit of momentum back before they go into halftime. If they can make this a 14-10 game, that would be huge for their momentum and the rest of the football.
Harris 9 of 15, 76 yards, no touchdowns, and has thrown an interception. It's Lamar Miller. Good run on first down, a gain of 9. Ty Zimmerman steps up to make the tackle.
I love the play call, too. I mean, even though it is a 2-minute offense here, get Lamar Miller the football. He can score in a hurry. Although he came up a little bit gimpy after that last run.
And they're still waiting in this stadium for him to cut loose. Maybe on this play, takes the inside handoff and dives straight ahead for the first down. Out across the 45-yard line, Lamar the tackle. It's a gain of 5 for Lamar Miller.
Yeah, he looked like he may have got his arm or something, but you land on that dirt. It is not soft.
This is the final game that the Hurricanes will play in this stadium with this dirt infield, as the Marlins open up their new stadium next year. Incomplete. Nigel Malone in on the coverage. So now 3rd down coming up, 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and that ball just thrown behind Streeter. Streeter had leverage on the corner. That ball's thrown out in front, maybe a 6, 7, 8 yard gain.
Excuse me, I got ahead of myself. 2nd down and 10 for the Canes. 3 receivers. James in the backfield. Harris scans the field on the run, complete to the 50-yard line for Mike James out of the backfield. A gain of 4, maybe 5. 3rd down. And a timeout called for by the Hurricanes. ESPNU, the home for passionate college football fans, as our experts break down the top teams in the nation. It's 3 hours every week, Tuesdays at 1 and 7 Eastern. All right. What is Miami going to call here, since you're our expert up in the booth? And they've got a minute and 27 to work with.
You know what, honestly, the way that Kansas State has been sitting on the routes outside, I'd pick one of my big receivers, LaRon Byrd, 6'4", 220, somebody that this Kansas State defense is not worried about running by him, and I'd run a double move with him. Let him run the hitch and go. Let these guys jump and try to make a play on the football, and then go behind them and make a big momentum changer before halftime.
As you say that, we have not talked a lot about Alan Hearns here today.
No, he's a fantastic player. Made a lot of plays a week ago. 2 touchdowns against Ohio State. He's lined up at the top of your screen.
On 3rd and 5. Harris has a lot of time. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. And the Boo Birds come back out. Streeter, the intended receiver.
They were trying to get that pass to Lamar Miller out of the backfield. They tried to line him up and get him singled on a linebacker, and just a good job of coverage didn't allow that play to happen.
So Botts comes back out. Lockett is deep to return. It's a good punt. Fair catch called for at the 9. And it's a 41-yard kick for Dalton Botts. So K-State gets it back. They're looking at a long field, but there's a lot of time left on this clock.
A lot of time left. I think they'll be conservative, but Colin Klein has done everything they have asked him to do offensively for Kansas State. He has run the football. He's thrown the football effectively, and he has led his team in a hostile environment against this good Miami defense, and it's been impressive. I didn't think he could move the ball consistently like he has in the first half against Miami defensively, but he has played very well.
Now, the last time that Kansas State was in this kind of situation deep in their own territory, they had 4 penalties in a row. Is that why you think they're going to be conservative with 1:14 to go before half?
I think they feel very good about the way they played in the first half, and if I'm Bill Snyder, I don't want to do anything to take that momentum away.
They'll hand off to Hubert. Looking for room on the right side. None there. As Brandon McGee steps up from his cornerback spot to make the tackle. No gain. 2nd down. As we're coming up on a minute to go.
It looks like both teams will be happy just to get in the locker room here. Kansas State with a 9-point lead, and Miami wants to go in and make some adjustments. They need to make some adjustments on defense to stop this option game. Mark D'Onofrio will be tested. And then on offense, I think they've got to figure out a way to get Lamar Miller in space a little bit more in the second half.
Taking his time. 5 seconds on the play clock. And again, Hubert. This time finds a little operating room and rips off 9 yards before McConnor Regis brings him down. Under 20 seconds to go before halftime here in Miami.
If Kansas State can get Hubert going, and if they have a little bit of Bryce Brown sprinkled in the second half, if they can get that rushing attack going in addition to Colin Klein running it and throwing it, they got a great chance to sustain this lead through 4 quarters.
Well, Bill Snyder might start scheduling more non-conference road games if things continue like this.
And they're very good in the second half, as you see, 144-5 when leading at halftime.
It is an 11-point lead for Kansas State on the road. 14-3 at the break. Colin Klein, the story of that first half. Over 100 yards passing, 63 rushing. Let's go down to Allison.
Coach Snyder, you put up 14 on the road against Miami. How have you and Colin Klein been able to move this offense?
Well, I think our youngsters have played well. We've blocked well for him and for our other running back. I just think we're playing a little bit better, and that gives us a chance. Miami's an awfully good football team and a great defensive team as well.
Defensively, you've held them to just 3 points. How?
Same thing. We're just playing well, playing responsible football, not giving up any big plays at this point in time anyway. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Get in there, guys.
And there goes Coach Bill Snyder, 20th year on the job.
He's got a lot.